Chapter 11. Unlikely Allies. The days that followed felt surreal. Adrian and I had established a tenuous partnership, but every interaction was laced with tension and uncertainty. I spent hours poring over documents, digging into every aspect of our family's businesses, looking for leverage and weak point. The stakes were high, and I needed to stay one step ahead of Adrian while also proving my worth as a partner. The sun was setting on another long day when Adrian summoned me to his penthouse. I arrived, the elevator ride feeling heavier than usual, the air thick with anticipation. As the doors opened, I was greeted by the familiar sight of the sprawling living area, but this time, it felt different. The atmosphere was charged, electric, as if something significant was about to unfold. Adrian stood by the bar pouring himself a drink. He looked up as I entered, his expression inscrutable. "You're on time," he remarked, a hint of surprise in his voice. "Don't act so shocked," I replied, trying to keep my tone light despite the anxiety churning in my stomach. "I'm not here to waste time." "Good," he said, setting the drink down and turning to face me. "Because we need to talk strategy." "Let's get to it then," I said, crossing my arms. He gestured toward a large whiteboard set up in the corner of the room, covered in notes and charts that detailed our family connections and business dealings. "I've been working on this," he said, stepping closer to the board. "We need to understand the intricacies of both our families' businesses. It's more complicated than I initially thought." I approached the board, studying the connections he had drawn. "You've put a lot of work into this," I admitted, impressed despite myself. "What's your end goal?" Adrian paused, his expression serious. "To unite our families under a single banner. If we can present ourselves as a cohesive force, we can outmaneuver anyone who threatens our power. But we need to be strategic about it." I nodded, the gravity of his words sinking in. "And how do you suggest we do that?" "We need to find common ground. There are areas where our businesses overlap. We can leverage those connections to gain influence," he explained, his voice steady. "But it won't be easy. Your father won't agree to anything without a fight." "Neither will yours," I countered, my thoughts racing. "If we're going to convince them, we need a solid plan." Adrian leaned back against the bar, his gaze piercing as he studied me. "That's why I need your help. You know your family better than I do." I took a moment to gather my thoughts, piecing together a plan. "My father respects power. He values strategic alliances. If we can show him that our collaboration is mutually beneficial, it might work. We need to present it as a way to strengthen both families." Adrian nodded, the corners of his mouth turning up slightly. "Exactly. But we'll need more than just talk. We'll need to demonstrate our commitment to this partnership, through actions, not just words." "Actions?" I asked, intrigued. He stepped closer, his eyes intense. "We need to find a way to take out a common enemy. Someone who poses a threat to both our families. If we can neutralize that threat together, it will prove to both our fathers that this alliance is worth pursuing." "Who do you have in mind?" I asked, a mix of curiosity and wariness bubbling within me. Adrian crossed his arms, his expression thoughtful. "There's a rival firm that's been gaining traction. They've been poaching key clients from both our families. If we can work together to undermine them, it will send a strong message." I frowned, considering the implications. "And how do you propose we do that? We can't just attack them outright." He leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "We gather intelligence, find out what they're planning, and exploit their weaknesses. You know how to navigate this world, Juliet. You've been trained for this." I felt a rush of adrenaline. The thrill of strategizing, of taking control, was intoxicating. "All right, I'm in, but I need to know everything you have on this rival firm." Adrian smiled, the intensity of his gaze making my heart race. "I liked that fire in you." As we delved into the details, I felt a strange sense of camaraderie developing between us. A partnership forged out of necessity rather than trust. It was a delicate balance, one that could tip either way depending on how we played our cards. After hours of planning, I finally stood up, stretching as the weight of the evening settled over me. "I should get going. We have a lot of work ahead of us." Agreed, Adrian replied, his voice softer now. But remember, this isn't just business. We need to be prepared for the fallout. The moment our families realize we're working together, there will be consequences. I nodded, feeling the gravity of his words. I understand. As I turned to leave, I felt his gaze on me, a mixture of intensity and something else I couldn't quite place. Juliet, he called after me, his voice low. I paused, glancing back. Yes? If this works, if we manage to unite our families, it could change everything. For both of us.